My dear students, at the very outset of this video presentation, I want to announce that today's assignment is a detailed discussion of the poem entitled The Voice of the Rain, and the name of the poet is Walt Whitman, who is an American poet. I welcome you all to my educational channel. The name of my educational channel is Priyankar Dotto. Here you will find video presentations on English language and literature of school level, college level, as well as of competitive examinations. Now we shall move to the text of the poem entitled The Voice of the Rain. For the sake of discussion, I have divided the text of the poem into two sections. I have given them subheadings like section 1 and section 2. Now, before discussing what the poet is trying to suggest in the first section, let us take a look at the title of the poem. The title of the poem is The Voice of the Rain. We all know that rain means the falling of water from the sky or from the clouds to the earth or on the earth. So these drops of water are inanimate. So we do not expect that the rain will be able to speak, or rather the rain has a voice, but the poet here speaks that the rain has a voice. So it is clearly an indication that the poet is humanizing the rain. So taking this thing in mind, that the rain will speak something, and what the rain will speak is going to be the very content of the poem. So it is with this kind of understanding that we shall move to discuss the first section of the poem. The poem begins in this manner: "And who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower." The word "I" refers to the poet, that is Walt Whitman. He asked. Whom did he ask? He asked the soft falling shower. Shower means drizzle. Drizzle, of course, falls softly, or rather slowly. It does not have a great speed. So the poet asked the rain. The rain has different kinds of appearance. One is torrential rain and one is drizzle, which you also call shower. So there may be other kinds of appearances. I am not going to that aspect now. So the poet asked rain, or rather the rain, about its identity, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer as here translated. The poet did not expect that the rain will speak, but the title makes us expectant to understand and know what the rain speaks. So the poet tells that when he had that kind of experience, he felt some kind of unusualness when the rain replied to his question. And the poet says, as here translated, that is what the rain said to the poet was in some kind of different language. We all know that birds have their own language of communication, animals have their own language of communication, and human beings have their own language of communication. So it is quite natural that the language in which the rain will communicate or the rain will express its feelings will be somewhat different from the language which we, or rather the human beings, use. That's why the poet says, as here translated, that is, the poet has heard what the rain said to him, he understood it, and he modified the content in a different language, the language which we know, which we understand. What the rain replied, or what the rain said in reply, is interesting. It said that I am the poem of earth. That is, the rain told that it is the poem of earth. Now, the question is, why does the rain say? In order to know the answer, we have to think about the significance of the word poem. So, after reading a poem, what do you get? We get joy, and we also get some kind of mental freshness, a kind of refreshing sensation in the mind. So, the rain says that it is the poem of earth. That is, when there is rainfall, the people of the earth become happy, and at the same time, the things which are dried up because of the scorching heat of the sun, those things get the rainfall, and those things get some kind of a freshening sensation. They feel as if they have got a new lease of life. So that is why the rain compares itself to poem. It also tells that eternal I rise. The rain rises eternally, continuously. The rising of the water of the rain is an eternal or continuous process. From where does it rise? It rises out of the land and the bottomless sea. In order to understand this part of the poem, we have to think of a situation of rainfall. For example, there is torrential rainfall for a very long period of time. So, the sea will get some water, the water level will increase, and the dried up land will become soaked with water, and the excess amount of water will be found stored here and there. But after the spell of the rain is over, the sun comes out from behind the clouds, and the sun appears with its ferocious heat and light. What happens is that the water which was stored on different parts of the land and also in the sea, that water becomes converted to vapor. It moves upward. That's why the poet says rises. Then we shall have to think about the significance of the adjective bottomless. If we think of the adjective bottomless from the perspective of geography, we shall see that the sea has a particular bottom, and since that depth of the sea is immense, in the field of literature and especially in the field of poetry, poets are accustomed to use the adjective bottomless. That is, it means that the sea has such a depth that no one knows where the bottom part of the sea is. Then the poet uses an important adjective, impalpable, to suggest the vapor, which is the transformed form of the water of the rain. So, since vapor cannot be touched, cannot be grasped, the poet calls it impalpable. In the next line, the poet tells upward to heaven. This word upward is connected with the word rise, which occurs in the previous line. So we have to think of a line like eternal I rise upwards to heaven. The water of the rainfall rises upwards. Where does it rise? It rises upwards. Where does it go? To heaven. Of course, heaven is a religious identity. Here, the poet uses the word heaven to refer to the sky. Actually, if we think of literature in strict scientific terms, we shall not be able to appreciate the beauty or the brilliance of literature. So the poet tells upward to heaven, whence means where, vaguely formed. The vapor forms. What does it forms? It forms clouds. Those clouds do not have a concrete shape. That's why the poet uses the word vaguely. Altogether changed. This is a complete change of appearance from water to water vapor and then to clouds. It's a complete change of appearance and yet the same, but still the matter which is there behind all those appearances is the same, and the matter is nothing but the water which is the product of rainfall. So before moving to the second section, which incidentally is the final section of the poem, let us sum up what the poet has said in the first section. The poet asked the rain about its identity. The rain told that it does the, or rather it serves the same purpose as a poem does. And it also tells that it falls down on the earth as water, it becomes transformed to vapor, and in the sky it forms, or it rather changes its appearance to clouds. But the inner substance remains the same. The answer of the rain is not complete as yet. That's why the rain says, I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. The rain said that it descended, it came down, it comes down. Why does it come down? Why does rainfall occur? To lave. Lave means wash. To clean. What does it clean? The droughts. What is droughts? Due to the scorching heat of the sun, the earth becomes dry and the soil becomes so devoid of moisture that no cultivation can be done, and acute shortage of water becomes evident. It is called drought. So when it is drought in the earth, there is rainfall, and it seems as if the stretch of land suffering under the drought is washed away by the water of the rain, and the rain washes other things as well. The things are atomies. We all know of atoms. Atoms are small particles. So by the word atomies, the poet refers to any small particles. It also washes away dust layers. small layers of dust, small balls of dust, those are all washed away by the water of the rain. And those three things belong to the globe. Globe means the earth. The rain washes other things as well. That's why the poet says, and all that in them without me were seeds only. The water of the rain washes away all those things which were immature, which did not have the sense of fruition, fulfillment, and which were given the element of fulfillment by the rainwater. So we can think that the poet has used the word seeds here as a metaphor to suggest the immature state of something. We all know that seeds become transformed to fruits. So the seed is the immature form and the fruit is the mature form. So there were some things. For example, the blossoming of flower. The birds were there, but the birds needed, or rather the tree needed, some water, some moisture to its root so that the birds can transform into flowers. So the birds were as immature as seeds are immature. So the kind of maturity is given to some elements of nature by the water of the rainfall. So the poet says latent unborn. So the elements of maturity were there in those things, but those things were hidden. Those things were not expressed. So the water of the rain helped things to mature, to become expressed completely. The rain also tells that, and forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin. Here, very clearly, the rain tells that it moves in a cyclical order, that is, from the water of different water sources of the earth to water vapor, then to clouds, and then coming back on the same earth as rain water, is purely a cyclical order, and this cyclical order continues forever. That is, it's a continuous process, and the idea of continuation is iterated by the phrase day and night. The rain says that I give back life to my own origin. The rain has its origin in the water of the water sources of the earth, and the water comes back to the earth in the same form. Thus, the rain gives life back to its own origin, to that place from where it has its birth. The rain has its birth from the earth. It gives life to the living beings of the earth. Here, life may mean a freshening sensation. Life may also mean fulfillment, completion, blossoming, and make pure and beautify it. I have just given the example of the blossoming of a flower from the bud. So, due to the effect of rainfall, buds blossom into flowers. Buds are converted to flowers. So, when buds become converted to flowers, the earth becomes beautiful, and at the same time, the kind of moisture the soil of the earth gets, everything appears as pure, as something holy. Now, there is the biggest surprise waiting for you. The last three lines of the poem are within the first bracket. Now the biggest question, why are the lines in the first bracket? For those who do not know, I tell you that this is a poetic technique, and this technique is called parenthesis. What is parenthesis? Parenthesis is the process in which the poet conveys an idea which, according to him, is related to the theme of the poem, but viewed literally is not related to the poem itself. That is, in the mind of the poet, the two things are connected, but in deeper analysis, there is no connection. However, we shall speak about parenthesis and its significance later on. Now, here I shall discuss about the significance of these three lines. The thing is very interesting. What the poet tells is that, remember, the rain is not telling anything. It is not saying anything. The poet is saying what he actually feels. He tells, for song, issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. The poet compares the rain with the song. The song is produced by a singer, and the birthplace of that song is none but that singer. For example, a singer sings a song. He has written the song also. Okay, this is the case. And after he or she has sung the song, others have heard it. So the song becomes a oral property. It is transformed from one person to another person. So in this way, the song has a long course. If the song appeals to one and all, the singer is rewarded, he is or she is applauded. He becomes a famous person. So the song comes back to that creator. Think of a difficult situation. The song fails to create an impression. So those listeners say that this is no song at all. Where is the melody? Where is the message? They prevent themselves from singing that song. So that song also comes back to the creator with a negative impression. But whatever the impression of the audience is, that is immaterial to the creator, because his or her love is always attached with that song, because he or she has created that song. Now we shall discuss about the importance of some words which the poet has used here. That is, after fulfillment, that is, after the song has been sung, the singer is satisfied. The song wanders, moves from one person to another person. That is, a person has sung the song, the other audiences are singing. That is, the song is moving from one person to another. The song may be accepted, may be repeated by other singers. Then we can say that it has been wrecked. And if that song is not accepted, people are critical and cynical about that song, we can say that it is unwrecked. But the creator or the original singer has his or her love intact for that song. Similarly, the rain is the creator. What does it create? It creates water. Okay, so it does its duty. What is the duty? To come back to its creation, to its motherland, to the land of its birth, that is the earth, and does as much as possible to help one and all. It may be that some beings may be critical of the rain. They can say that, no, we do not want the rain. We get drenched. Our dresses get drenched. It creates an uneasy feeling. Even some animals and birds may complain that we did not need that rainfall at present because we are in search of food. If there is torrential rainfall, we cannot find the food. But the rain does not think of any kind of reaction, positive or negative. It carries on its work and it keeps its love for that work intact. So, in the last 3 lines, the song is compared to the activity of the rain. The singer is compared to the rain itself, and the response of the listeners is compared to the reaction of the living beings, of course all kinds of living beings, to the rainfall. So this kind of comparison is something which does not befit with what the rain said. The focus of the poem is what the rain said about its identity. So this kind of comparison is what the poet draws in his own mind. That's why he keeps this idea separate by giving the first bracket, but does not fail to incorporate within the text, because he feels that this is his own feeling and he wants to make the reader know of his feeling. This is all what I had to say about the poem. Now, before going to the valedictory note, here is an important declaration. In the description part of this video presentation, you will find a link, and by clicking on the link, you will be able to go to my blog or website, from where you will be able to view exhaustive study materials on the poem. To be precise, you will find here word notes, paraphrase, multiple choice type questions and their answers, extract based questions and their answers, short questions and their answers, broad questions and their answers, even value based questions and their answers, textbook exercises, and the figures of speech used in the poem. So, before concluding this video presentation, I request you to subscribe my channel, to share my video presentations, to put forward your comment and your queries in the comment section of this video presentation. I thank you all. See you again in my next video presentation. Thank you.